Gone are the days where having good food is good enough for marketing. Like, hey, we have great food and the place is clean and we have good location. Like, it's just not enough anymore. Everybody on the planet wants to be heard. Everybody wants to make their opinion known. Introverts and extroverts. You should be finding a way to ask every single guest, how was it? You have to listen and then you have to do something with it.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of TechBite. Today we're joined by Rev Ciancio. He is the owner and co-owner of Handcraft Burgers and Brew in NYC, and he is the hospitality marketing consultant at Brandon Strategic. So without further ado, Rev, let's get started. So what are the top mistakes that you see restaurants make when they're doing marketing?
Man, gone are the days where having good food is good enough for marketing, right? Like, hey, we have great food and the place is clean and we have good location. Like, it's just not enough anymore, right? And I think a lot of restaurants kind of get that. We're kind of over that hump, but for sure there are people like think that because they have great service and think because they have great food that like people are going to come flying through the door. This is not the case. Like, it is just not the case anymore. You can't have a restaurant without marketing. So mistake number one is not doing marketing. You have to. And mistake number two is doing a little bit of marketing. Somebody like, I can't tell how many restaurants, more on the independent side that I talk to, and I go, hey, what are you doing for marketing? And they're like, oh, we're updating Instagram. And like, you can't be in a single channel. It has to be omnichannel, okay? I call this...
So number one mistake is you haven't done marketing. We have another episode. Go back and find that one with Rev, the first version. That will tell you how to get started in marketing.
All right,
Go ahead.
Number two is not doing enough marketing or not being omnichannel. Like, you have to understand, and again, go listen to the other episode. There are 4 parts to the customer journey: awareness, acquisition, experience, and retention. You need to have marketing that aligns to each piece. Okay, you have to have marketing that aligns to each piece of that marketing. Now, I'm going to address the Instagram thing real quick. Instagram is not an acquisition channel. It is not, okay? They say followers. What do we call those in the restaurant business? Guests, because nobody follows a restaurant on social media unless they've already eaten there or they intend to, which means it's a retention channel, okay? And so when you're posting organic content to social media, you have to think about speaking to a guest to get them to come back. And if your content on social media is aimed at acquisition, that's part of the reason you're not getting retention, because you're not speaking to your guests. So you have to have multiple channels and you have to be using them for the right thing. So that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3, listings management. I will go blue in the face about this until the end of time, until every restaurant does it, okay? 2 out of 3 of your guests should be coming to you through a search function. And it could be a search on an app. It could be a search on a search engine. It could be search on a map. So Apple Maps, Google, Siri, Alexa, Facebook, TripAdvisor, Yelp, Bing, Yahoo. There's so many places, okay? If your information is not there, or it's incorrect, or it's not optimized, especially what's on your menu, you're leaving the most easy, the most scalable, the most like energy and time and money efficient channel there is for acquisition, which is search. Okay. So mistake is not doing listings management.
And actually that's very easy because there is a lot of traffic that is getting searched on those channels to get into the restaurants. And because restaurants are hyper local, Apple Maps, Google Maps, like these things are vital, or Foursquare, because again, it's hyper local. You have to ensure that your menu is on there. You have to make sure that your listing is accurate, etc. Again, if you want to learn more about that, listen to the other episode that will drill down on the strategies around these and the listing management.
Okay, next mistake, right, is not asking every single guest for feedback. Okay. Everybody on the planet wants to be heard. Everybody wants to make their opinion known. Introverts and extroverts. Everybody wants their opinion heard. You should be finding a way to ask every single guest, how was it? Okay. And not only do you ask, you have to listen, and then you have to do something with it. Okay. If 10 out of 10 people tell you that your spoons are flimsy, yo man, get new spoons, right? If 7 out
Agreed.
of 10 people say it's really hard to use your online ordering, you gotta get new online ordering. So the mistake is not getting guest feedback and then not taking action on it. Okay. Now the next mistake that most restaurants do is a continuation of that one, is not replying to guest feedback is a mistake. Okay. And I'm going to use Google and Yelp reviews as the primary example. If I walk into your restaurant and I had an amazing time and somebody does a table touch and says, "How was it?" and I go, "Oh my God, we had an amazing meal." Would you stare blankly in that guest's face, or would you say thank you? You would say thank you. Okay. Yeah. By the same token, if you do the table touch and you come over to my table, and I go like, "Yeah, man, we did not have a good time. The food was cold. My glass was chipped. The server was a jerk. Your bathrooms are dirty." Whatever the thing I said was, again, would you stare me blankly in the face, or would you do a win back? You would do a win back. "We're really sorry about that. Let me get the manager. Here's a piece of cake. I'm going to knock 10% off your bill," whatever. Okay. You can't do the same thing to people online. If somebody goes on to Google and says thank you, you should reply. That's just good hospitality. And if somebody goes on to Yelp and leaves you a bad review, you should reply and say, "I'm sorry," and try to make it better, because that's just good hospitality. Now, that should be reason enough to reply, because we're in the hospitality business and that's being service oriented. Okay. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. When somebody goes on to Google and Yelp and says best hot wings near me, we'll just continue that one. Okay. There's a number of factors that Google and Yelp and Bing and Alexa use to determine what's the best answer. And one of the predominant factors in making that recommendation is reputation management. It is not how many reviews you had. And it's not your average rating. It's something that I call review velocity, and you can go look this up. Google calls it prominence. Google and Yelp and Bing and Yahoo, they're taking the highest frequency of recent positive reviews to determine where you should come up in search results. So if you're getting more 5-star reviews, you come up higher in search results. And one of the ways that you get more reviews is by replying to reviews. So if you ask for feedback, you'll get more reviews. If you reply to feedback, you'll get more reviews. You'll also get more guests coming back. Oh, we've triggered balloons. So mistake is not asking for feedback. Other mistake is not replying to feedback. Now, honestly, I could go through 600 other mistakes. Those are probably the top ones, with one more. Room for one more mistake?
Well, actually, hang on. Let's get yes, but let's drill down onto this review thing, because it makes sense. Because the Google, the Apple guys, Yelp, etc., they're trying to serve the best content to that individual user. That's how they make their money, by being the most relevant. And I was reading something that said, like, Google will also deprioritize your listing if your rating is like less than like 3.9 stars or so, and reasonably so. And by the way, even if they don't do that, discount that whole thing. When you're searching, you as a restaurant owner, when you're searching to go somewhere else to eat, you don't go in there and say, all right, there's 2 Mexican restaurants. One is like 2.5, 3 star. The other one is 4.5 stars. Let me go to the 2.5 star guy, because clearly he's got it right. So everybody else says he's amazing and 2.5 stars. Let me go to this guy, versus the guy who everybody else says is 4.5 stars. So your reviews are critical for brand awareness, guest acquisition side, because you just simply, again, take an example yourself. You go to other restaurants, and the way you pick them is through the reviews. And kind of coming back, circling to your earlier point, if the customer says, look, everything was amazing, you have to have a way to trigger them to say, hey, please leave us a review, right? Just simply ask. You're serving probably 75 to 100 customers on a low end every day, right? You should be able to get 2 reviews a day. Just literally 2 reviews out of 100 customers, they should be leaving a review on there. Just enable them to do that, and don't make it super complicated. Don't just say, hey, Rev, how was everything? Amazing. Okay, can you go to Google, log into your account, and find Handcraft Brew and Burgers on Google Maps, yada, 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 leave review. Like, he's not going to do that. Just have some sort of an easy way. You could do a QR code that they could scan and go directly to the review page, and then literally just hit the star rating, leave a comment, and submit, instead of having to go through that. So the more inconvenient it is, the less likely people will do that. So just make it a one-step process. Scan the QR code, please leave us a feedback. this is how we drive new customers, yada yada
Yeah,
yada.
and if you're gonna do that, you should use a deep link. And I won't go deep here with what a deep link is, but essentially, if you go to your Google Business profile and it says "Get more reviews," you click it, it will give you a link. Use that link. What it does is when somebody clicks on it, it puts them already into the review process. It doesn't just take them to your
That's
Google
correct.
page; it like pops up the review. Again, make it simple. All right, can we go into one last big huge mistake? I don't know why this is not a safe, but the number one priority in restaurant marketing is collecting guest data and growing your CRM. If you don't have somebody's email address or name or phone number, you can't market to them and you can't get them back in, because hoping people come back is not a marketing plan. And so like at Handcraft Burgers and Brew, I have 9 different ways that I will get your email address. Sometimes I wonder if we're actually a burger shop or we're just an email collection service. Like, we will get your email address because I know that if I have your email address, I can get you to come back. And so it is totally a mistake to not prioritize getting an email. And I will see restaurants, the QSR chains are really bad at this. They prioritize getting you into loyalty, which I understand why. But don't start me at the bottom of the process. Start me in the middle of the process. If you get my email address, if you just make it simple to collect my email address, you can drive me to rewards later. Maybe I don't want rewards. Okay. There's a lot of, I'll use BW3 as an example because I really like that company, but you cannot just subscribe to their email blast. It doesn't exist. You have to be a rewards member to get their email. That's stupid, right? There's enough, like, I'm not going to go to BW3 more than once or twice a year, but I'm happy to subscribe to your email list. I don't need to be a rewards member, right? And again, I like the company. I'm not picking on them. I did this as an example. Like, just capture email addresses. Just prioritize capturing email addresses. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. And this is a hot topic right now. Last few years, there's been a lot of conversations around customer data platform, getting customer information, linking that, personalizing outbound marketing messages. But I think what I have learned is the restaurant industry right now is stuck on not doing anything. And we as the tech companies are trying to say, okay, skip over the mass marketing because that's already dead and come into the personalized marketing space. And in order to get there, here's how you get there. However, they don't have any data. So that goes back to the 70 to 80% of customers visit just one time. Well, the reason is hoping they come back. I agree. That's not going to happen. Hope is not a business strategy. You can't just, again, the days of just opening a restaurant, you're hyper local, people are walking by, they're coming in, etc. It's just not going to work. And the customer data platform side, the getting their email address, getting their information is a huge help to that. And I'm surprised that a lot of people are just simply not doing that. No proactive way to do that. You don't have to push it aggressively, but at least have an option for the guests to give you their information. Because back to your point, once you have their email address, the moment they leave the restaurant, 3 hours later, you could have a message go out that says, how was everything? And if they said everything was amazing, guess what? You could immediately send them to your Google and Yelp page and ask for a 5-star review. And if they had a negative experience, win back. But you can't do that if you don't have their email address. If you don't have their contact information, then how are you going to do that? And imagine if your competitors are doing that and you're not, it puts you in a really tough situation. So that CDP, customer data, it's critical in order to get customers, not just to increase frequency, but increase 5-star reviews. Or if you're close for any special event, like we have a customer that they're doing construction, and prior to this, they had no data. So they just hoped for the best, right? Otherwise, if they had all the customer data, they could have sent an email that says, hey, we're having construction this day to this day, order online, right? Again, just basic communication with your customers.
Amen, buddy. You got it. Look, there's probably 100 other mistakes, but if you're not doing all of those, by simply optimizing against the mistakes we just went through, you will change your business.
Yeah, things to avoid. Sometimes it's not what to do, what not to
exactly.
do. All right, perfect. Well, this kind of wraps up this episode of another top marketing mistakes in the restaurant space. Rev, thanks for joining us, and always a pleasure to talk to you and learn something new every time we
Thank you,
talk.
buddy. Appreciate it.